Hi, I'm Mark Peterson, fish biologist with Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, and I'm here today with fish biologist Danny Garrett, and we're at one of my favorite lakes to fish in eastern Washington. We're at Leader Lake in Okanogan County, and we're going to be fishing for some big bluegill today, and we'll show you some simple techniques for catching these fine-eating fish.
We're also going to be joined later in the video by Gabe Daly, who's a 5th grader from Ephrata. Mark and I met him last year. He's got a real passion for fishing and fish biology. The action when fishing for bluegill can be fast and furious. So let's go find some fish and get started.
Let's do it. Okay, well, Leader Lake is not only known for its bluegill, but it also has a nice crappie population in it as well. So picked up a crappie on that. Like we doubled up on
bluegill and a crappie.
Bluegill and a crappie right there.
A little bluegill and a nicer sized crappie.
Wow.
So yeah, when you're fishing these little jigs, you can catch any number of species, huh, Mark?
That's right.
Crappie, perch.
Yep, especially here in Leader.
We're going to take a little break from fishing right now and talk about bluegill tackle. The cool thing is it's really inexpensive and easy to get involved with. Most people across the country fish for bluegill simply with a hook underneath a bobber with a small piece of earthworm. But these fish have been so aggressive today, we've been successful using artificial lures. And our lure of choice has been a small tube on a 1/16 ounce jig head, again, suspended below a bobber. It helps to suspend that bait below the surface, oftentimes where those bluegill are actively feeding. Now in the heat of the day, some of these bluegill have been right down on the bottom. So we've been using a drop shot rig, which is that same little tube hooked onto a drop shot hook, suspended above a small 1/16 ounce drop shot weight. This allows that tube to be near the bottom, but not down in the weeds where it's going to get hung up and right in the strike zone where the fish are. You're going to want to experiment with these two different methods to see where the fish are in the water column to ultimately be successful. All right, another bluegill here. There's a nicer one. Yeah, this is a nicer fish. This fish is closer to 7 inches. And 6 inches is a good cutoff for filleting these fish. They get much smaller than that, and it's pretty tough to put a fillet knife to them, but right around 6 inches, you get a pretty nice fillet off these fish. And of course, you'll have to catch a dozen or more to make a meal out of them, but they are very good eating.
All right, that's a nicer bluegill. Nice bluegill right there. Caught him just off the edge of that brush line. Oh yeah, look at that. That is a beauty. That's a 7.5 inch bluegill right there. Look at that. That's a beauty.
Okay, so let's take a closer look at the bluegill sunfish, commonly called a bluegill for short. This is one of 37 species in the family Centrarchidae, all native to North America, and it's comprised of several different species that are in Washington, such as the largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, black crappie, rock bass, and pumpkin seed sunfish. Similar to their cousin, the pumpkin seed sunfish, bluegill have small mouths, ideal for eating insects and small aquatic invertebrates their entire lives. They have spines on their dorsal, anal, and pelvic fins, and they also have laterally compressed bodies, which is ideal for swimming around in tight cover and aquatic vegetation. Now, differing from the pumpkin seed, they have these faint striations on their side, which the pumpkin seed do not, and they also have this dark blue-black gill flap here on the side, which is orange or red in the pumpkin seed sunfish. Now, you will not find quality waters for bluegill everywhere in the state of Washington. Our best waters are characterized by having at least moderate levels of aquatic vegetation, important for insect production, which feeds these fish throughout their entire lives. It's also good to have at least moderate levels of nutrients going into the water, which supports large crops of zooplankton in the springtime, which supports the growth of juvenile bluegill. And it can also be helpful to have some predation by largemouth bass, and yes, some harvest by anglers, which helps to thin out some of the smaller fish, freeing up resources, allowing small fish to grow to larger sizes during the course of their 10-year lifespan. Now, the state record bluegill caught in 1984 was 12 inches and weighed 2.5 pounds, which gives you some idea of the growth potential of bluegill here in the state of Washington.
Just give me a tussle. There he is. Nice. He's a fighter. Oh my gosh.
Oh, nice bluegill, Gabe.
Oh man. It's a nice slab again. Oh, it's a crappie. Yes. All right. No way, my dream just came true. Well, there you go, folks. Here's my very first black crappie out here on Leader Lake. It's truly a prize. There we go. Nice looking crappie. Yes, my first one. Nice one to eat.
Hey Gabe, thanks for coming out. We've been really looking forward to seeing you and getting some time to fish with you. And now, you have fished bluegill before, right?
Yeah, I fished for them at Moses Lake on the second dam when they're running up the spillway. And there's a ton of them up there, so it's a good opportunity for me to come up to Okanagan and do some fishing with you guys.
Right, try out a new bluegill fishery.
Yeah.
What's the favorite gear you would say that you use for bluegill?
Well, as far as rods go for bluegill, I prefer smaller rods such as this Okuma ultralight rod with the 4 or 6 pound test line, and I use just about the same stuff as you use, a crappie jig and a drop shot rig.
So there you have it, from bluegill fisherman Gabe Daly,
Yeah.
right? What do you say we catch a few more bluegill?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh, that's a good bluegill.
There he is.
Oh, nice. Look at that. There's a nice bluegill. Nice job, Gabe.
Nice bluegill.
Oh, nice. Okay, well, I think you might have. Whoa! I think you might have beat me on that. That's a nice bluegill.
Nice,
there you go.
Nice Leader Lake bluegill there.
Excellent. Good job, Gabe. We had a great time here at Leader Lake fishing for bluegill. Gabe, did you have a great time?
Yes, I had an excellent fun time fishing for bluegill and crappie. It was my first time fishing for crappie in Washington. Then I encourage you to go on the Fish Washington website and find a bluegill water near you.
Awesome. We encourage you to introduce kids to this kind of fishing. They'll have a great time, and it's also a great experience for everyone. And also consider taking a neighbor or friend fishing that may not have a chance to get out and go. It can create memories that last a lifetime. From all of us here at the Department of Fish and Wildlife, and Gabe, when you're out and around water, please be safe and fish Washington.
Another great thing for bluegill fisheries is to have some predation by largemouth bass or another predator, and perhaps some harvest by anglers, which
We had a great time here at Leader Lake fishing for bluegill.